So there's a little change from the last video on the channel, which is the name of the channel. It was calling Sailing It's the Truth, but I decided to change it. A friend and I were talking about it last night over a bottle of Malbec, and he said there's too many channels called Sailing blah blah blah. So I said fine, I'll call it Life of Riley, which is what a friend of mine wanted me to name the boat, and I almost did. But because I'm not just sailing around the world, I'm also exploring a lot of the countries I'll be in, etc. So this makes more sense. It's not just about sailing, not just about my sailboat, although most of it will be, but a lot of it will be about where I am and exploring where I am. So that was the reason behind the name, the change of the name. And so and then the other change, the other change coming up is I will be moving It's the Truth onto the hard to get the work done, because I realized sitting here in the water in a beautiful marina, not very motivating to get stuff done. So, and I needed to get her out of the water anyway to do some of the work I want to get done. So we will be moving over to Ram Marina in a couple of weeks. I went yesterday and kind of checked out a couple of marinas and decided on Ram, and they said they could take me whenever I wanted. So my month here at sabbatical is up in a couple of weeks, and then at that time I'll head on over. So so basically the videos I have for today, and then probably the next video as well, will be just kind of my journey down here. So no work on the boat on these videos. So the video here starts kind of where the journey started, in Norwalk, Connecticut, and I hope you enjoy. I was all packed and ready to go, with everything I could think of packed in a couple boxes and a few bags. And I took the train from Charlottesville, Virginia to Norwalk, Connecticut. The first task to do was to unwrap the boat. It's like unwrapping a giant present, and a lot of fun when it's your first time doing it to your new boat. The next step was to put her back into the water. Basically what happens is a truck with a big trailer comes over to where she was on land, and they put her on the pedestals on the trailer to move her over to the travel lift. They wrap giant straps underneath her, and then the lift essentially has her own dock that they drive over in order to put the boats back into the water. It's pretty intense watching your boat being carried by just a couple straps, but it's a well-tested system, especially in this marina where they have hundreds of boats go back into the water during the spring months every year. I didn't get the shot of her actually going into the water, as I had to get on her to move her to her new slip. Well, technically my new buddy Dean did that for me, as I was too nervous to dock her for the first time. I also had Willie on board with us to make sure the batteries worked. Thankfully, he brought his charger. But we all made it over to my new slip, and it was time to start living and working on my new boat. Norwalk, Connecticut is an hour away from New York City, and it was a fun town to be in for the month I was there, albeit pretty cold. Norwalk Cove Marina is close to a lovely park and beach with a long pier where it was nice to take walks on the less windy days. I still do miss my days there, as I met great people and just in general had a great time when I was there. I highly recommend Norwalk Cove as a marina, from the people that work there to its location. It had everything. My time there was ending, and it was really hard to leave. I even thought about the possibility of staying up north for the summer to get things done on my boat and have her ready to cross the Atlantic for the following year. But my original goal of Guatemala was calling, and calling strong. Plus, I don't know if I could have afforded the marinas in the north. So my mom and my friend Trey joined me for the first sail offshore, heading down to Deltaville, Virginia. And to be honest, I was excited for two things: the warmer weather and the fact that I would finally get to check sailing through New York City off my bucket list. One night to be confused, one night to speed up truth. We had a promise paid, 4 hands and then away, both under influence. We had divine sense to know what to say. Mind is a razor blade to call for hands of above, to lean on would it be
are just simple touch. One night to push and scream, and then relief. 10 days of perfect tunes, the colors red and blue. We had a promise made, we were in love.
This was It's the Truth first offshore passage we would make since I bought her. It took a while to find the perfect week where I wouldn't scare the crap out of my mother, but we would have enough wind to be able to sail down. And it was a perfect week. Although Mum would tell you how cold it still was, she was still a trooper for doing the sail nonetheless. It was her first offshore passage. We made it to Deltaville in about 2.5 days, which was faster than I expected as we had some great wind off the Jersey shore. It wouldn't be too long before I ran into the mud for the first time. It's the Truth draws about 6'8", and we arrived to my new marina at about midnight, naturally. If you know the creeks off the Chesapeake, you know that they are made for the dayboaters, and the buoys aren't lit. We ran aground about 2 times getting stuck in the soft mud before deciding to give it one last shot a different way, and luckily, that one last shot got us to the dock. Mum had gone to bed before getting to the creek, so it was just Trey and I, and we were exhausted but still enjoyed a bottle of Potter's to celebrate our victory of making it to Virginia. Well, that's it for this part of the journey. Next time, I hope to show you a bit more about my time in Virginia and then take you on a journey south to Florida. Until then, cheers!